Hi, I'm Cynthia, and welcome to another creative exploration session. And this morning, when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do today, I couldn't really figure out what exactly I wanted to do. And I thought, well, I have these prompts that I've made for myself for days that I don't know what I want to paint. And I pulled out um, watercolor washes and um, I think it was drips of paint and color blocks. And so I just played around with this particular landscape this morning. I mean, well, it became a landscape. I wasn't really trying to make it into a landscape. It just emerged as a landscape, and I used all of my prompts to get started. So I did that one. And then I started a second one that I think I'll finish up. I was waiting for it to dry. So this is sort of the same concept. And in the meantime, I'm going to start another one. So if you're new here to this channel, I just like to explore, especially water media on Wednesdays, and then on Saturdays have been exploring a series of collages that are sort of mixed media collages. And I have a new camera setup that I tried on Monday, and so hopefully that's going to work for us today. And that's why I want to have the my computer working so I can see what I'm doing. So, oh, and also I want to be able to say hello to anybody who's joining. Hello. The drawing, you liked my drawing. Thank you so much. Is the little painting. Now I'm going to turn this down and I'm going to make sure that you can see my work. And let me check this again on my computer screen. I think that's about right. And it's always opposite, so I have to check and make sure I'm not off the camera here. Okay, so I'm just gonna choose. I'm gonna choose some limited colors and try to, see if I can get another landscape to emerge from this. And I don't really know what it's going to be yet. So, just gonna pick some green here. Not that it has to be green, but feeling like summer. And I'm just gonna get some color on here. And if you've been here before, you know that I'm from Michigan, and so some people have not anybody on my channel, but in the past, people say, "Oh, you're a flatlander." I guess pretty much you could call Michigan a flatland, although we do have some elevations in the northern part of the state. So from time to time, I'll look over and see if anybody's made any comments. So I'm not ignoring you, but I'm going to focus on painting mostly, and I'll try to check the comments every now and again. And I like to really let the water guide the color and see what happens. See what kind of a landscape we can get out of it. And then I'm going to return to that one that I started earlier and add some things to it to see if we can make it look like something a little bit more than a yellow ochre, a green, and a blue streak across the page. Let's see, I've got a green on here. I'm not sure what green I'm using. And some yellow ochre. I don't know if you can see this very well if I lay it flat. But I'll tip it up from time to time as well. I'm trying to decide what other color I want to use in here. I've got yellow, ochre, and green. And I think I want to get some blue in here, but maybe I'm going to mix that with a little bit of something. One thing about watercolors, if you're at all interested in trying it, or if you are a watercolor painter, I don't know if you would agree with me, but I think it's super important to have a good quality paper. I was using some paper that I thought, oh, it doesn't really matter, and I wasn't happy with what I was painting, and I think, that was the reason why. I went and worked on better paper, and I was much happier with the results. So I think it matters quite a bit. And the other thing about the way I paint right now anyway is I don't rush anything. So it's a little bit of a slow process. You have to be patient with the water moving, just sort of letting it find its way. Something on that. Spritz a little water from the top here. Bless Sullivan, thanks for subbing. And let's see. I think that's all the comments for now. Just spritzing a little bit more water on here to move that paint. Right now it just, it really just looks like a couple of stripes of color. But let's see what we can get it to do. What else we can get it to do? I kind of like the way this is starting to run down that direction. I'm trying to make sure here we go. I might add a little bit more water up here on an angle. Just water in my bottle over there. Oops, I'm not. I get turned around looking at the camera, and I go the wrong direction. Sorry about that. I want this to be dry before I touch that area because I don't really want it to bleed into there. See how if I can get that. horizon, I guess. I think I want to let this dry a little bit more, although I should do some more to this foreground. Put some more color in there. Might as well fill up the whole paper. And I think I actually want to wet this foreground first. Put some water in here. And move this other painting out of the way so I don't get it wet. Actually have this watercolor stick that I might add in here. Get some dark in there. Should want that in the green area. I said I'm going to only use 2 or 3 colors, but I love these watercolor sticks. Get a little bit more saturated color in there. It left a little bit more of a line than I wanted. Not sure I'm happy with that, but maybe we can make it work later. Okay, so I think what I'll do is let this one dry a little bit. I just gave myself a black fingerprint in my sky. Ah, darn it. Well, now the sky's got gray clouds in it. I'm just gonna go with that. Yeah, I don't like the way that watercolor stick left that line in there. But I can remedy that, I guess, with some other paint. Put some black out here. I usually like to mix my own black, but I'm going to use some of this and mix it with some yellow ochre. Might get a little heavy and muddy in here. I don't know. We'll see. I keep going the wrong way with my painting here. To remember to everything in my screen on my computer is opposite. I think that that's going to be okay. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry and work on this other one a little bit more. And this pad of paper that I just painted on is Arches watercolor paper, which is really nice. I looked for these again and I couldn't find them. I don't think they make it anymore. I bought these a long time ago, Kilimanjaro. It's watercolor paper and then there's drawing paper in between each page. So this is in a bound. This is a block. This is bound. So I'm going to see what else I can do with this one and see if it turns out kind of more like this one. I had the idea that maybe this is more like a Michigan landscape. That's what the sky looks like here. Gray. No, today we have an absolutely beautiful blue sky. We've had no rain lately. It's been very nice. Not as good for growing the garden, but maybe a little rain in the forecast this weekend. Okay, I'm cleaning my brushes here really quick. And then I'm going to maybe put a little bit of detail in this. Hopefully you can see this okay. And try to remember what colors I used earlier. Not that it matters that much. I just like to use a limited palette. Can you hear my rooster? You might hear my rooster crowing. His name is Anthony. It's a little bit of a story about how he was named Anthony. I think I listened back through one of my videos and I noticed him in the background. Well, the other thing I said I was going to do with this is the idea of, blocks of color. Which I don't know what I'm doing here with this. It might end up looking like something less than a landscape. Didn't like that. Blot some of that out. to put, no, that's too wet. Different spot that's not wet. I don't know what that is. I was trying to create the idea of blocks of color, and I don't know what it is. Put some blue in here. I was thinking of fields when I drew these lines. But I'm just going to go ahead and try not to be so literal and just get some other colors and forms in here. Painting upside down. I think what might be interesting too, what can be really interesting is to pull some of this color up with paper towel in this field here. Or maybe it's field. I guess that green is pretty staining. It didn't really come up. Let's see what else I'm going to do with this. think that's enough for now on this one. I wanted to create a sense that there might be some kind of human structures out here somewhere. And I didn't really add those, so let's see what else I could add in here to, I guess this, you know, in the far distance, it could be buildings, trees. Doesn't look like Michigan. I was thinking I was trying to make it look like Michigan. It doesn't really. Maybe it does. Maybe the colors are about right. I'm tempted to put some water on here and see what happens if I do that. I'm not actually holding it off the screen here. I don't want to do that. Just give it a little spritz. Let the colors blend together a little bit more. See what happens with that. I think I like that a little bit better. I'm going to let this dry over here. And, well, let's see. This one's still pretty wet. That's one thing about the arches if you want to work back into it. But actually, when it's damp, you can get some interesting effects too. So maybe that's what we'll just go ahead and see what happens on this one. I don't think I like what happened there with that watercolor stick. I think I was a little too aggressive with that. So I'm gonna see what else I can come up with here. I might just try to use that same watercolor stick color, but get it off my palette as opposed to drawing it onto the drawing. Onto the painting, I should say. Maybe add a little bit of black to that. Oh, that's a lot of black. It's probably a lot, way more black than I really wanted. I'm sad about that. Well, this is all experimenting too. I have to make a mental note to myself not to draw right on the paper for this type of work with the Daniel Smith watercolor. That's not the look I wanted. I mean, I think you can do that. It's just, it's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be a softer look. my squeaky studio door. Actually, it's our pole barn. And as you can see behind me, it's not finished. But it's finished enough to work here. But we have a squeaky door. If you hear, that's my husband going out and hitting golf balls off the end of the porch. He works up here as an architect, and then every now and again he gets up and takes a break. That's a good break. So if you hear those little taps, that's what you're hearing. I'm reaching over to this other painting here and grabbing a couple drips off the bottom. Well, usually when I do my top down, I can tell how long I've been on here, and I have no clue how long I've been on here. I don't have a clock anywhere nearby, and I'm just sort of playing with this. This is interesting. I would like to add some little details to this, but only when it's completely dry. So that's not going to happen on this live stream, but I might either come back to it on a future live stream or I'll post it in the community section of my channel, and you could see what the final result looks like. Because I want it to dry. It's just you can see how wavy it is. When it dries, it'll be flat again. So that one, I think that's okay. And then this one, this guy looks a little heavy, but it's kind of like almost like a stormy or cloudy day. I don't really like to leave that gap, but I didn't want the colors to bleed together too much right there. So I don't know if I can come back in here and do something with that, but it might be too much of a, well, maybe I can add a little bit more water and see if I can get that to blend into the sky above it. I might have let it dry too much to do that. Can't remember what blue I used. I like how it looks, really kind of like a storm. I'm going to turn it over and bring some of this color down this way. I think that worked. Well, I started out today just sort of not knowing what I wanted to work on. Gave myself a few prompts to inspire me. Oops, sorry about that, my microphone. And, started out with this. Where's the other one? Started out with that one, which was maybe a little looser and quicker. And then this one, it's a little heavy, but it looks like a landscape just from a few washes and I think some more color blocks. And then this one, Once it gets dried, I think I can do some more with this one. But this was just some drips and some washes, and well, I added the Daniel Smith, but let me turn up my camera here. Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me here today live. And if you're on the replay, thanks for that too. And of course, I always love comments and would love to have you paint along with me sometime or make collage along with me or just hang out. So I'll be back. Let's see, today's Wednesday. I'll be back on Saturday. Next week, Wednesday, I won't be here, but most Wednesdays and Saturdays I'm here. And be sure to check out some of my playlists and catch some of my other live videos. So once again, thanks for being here and see you next time.